Well, this machine here, it is eSafe, ESA certified, according to the Canadian Electrical Authority, and it has an electrical layout as well with the machine. Over here, you see that it has a cover, protection, safety cover, and the safety cover does have magnets so that when it's open, the machine will stop, the blade will not work. And over here, I've also opened the cover here, also with safeties on it, that when the lid is open, it's going to also stop the machine. Over here in the chamber, you see how it works here. It grabs on the meat. Okay, that's how it grabs. And then after, also has a guide to have the meat also pressed in. I want to show you also the knives. Here, so this is the main blade. There's also a safety feature here, so that a brake, we call it the brake, so that when the user is operating with the machine, it'll lock the knife in position. And also when you press it for cleaning and washing, then we can, right there, it just released, and by me hitting that button, it releases the blade. Okay, and I just press that button again, and you see that it's locked into position. So there's some safeties in there as well. This machine comes with the option of a smooth blade, comes normally with a smooth blade, and also a serrated blade. You see the tools there, the teeth. Now we're just gonna lock this back in, right? And it has a couple of locks there. Locky there, and another locking position there. Inside the chamber, there is the measurements in length. There is a total length of 680 millimeters, and the width that you can put for product is 250 millimeters, and the height is 160 millimeters. Now I'm saying 160 up to this point here, but yeah, so you have the window there. Those are the measurements that I gave you for the window of the product, okay, and the length. Over here, the control panel. I'm gonna show you the control panel. It is now left on position. I'm actually going to turn it off. There is a safety cover here, and you can see this is what it looks like. But normally when we turn on the machine, so before we go on to these controls, I want to show you that on the display here, it says brake on. What that means is that button that I showed you earlier, which I'll point to you again. That is a safety feature, which is this one here, brake on. When brake on is initiated, it does not allow anything to work. Okay, so you can press whatever you need to, it will not work. So now we want the machine to start working, we have to release that brake on, which we just did. So over here is the main switch. Again, according to the ESA certification, this machine is ESA certified. Okay, and we want to start the machine. And what we're going to do now, this is a manual process here. You can bring this to the front, all the way back, or all the way to the front. And this button here is your stop and start button. So it does both functions, stop and go. So when we come here to the display, because we moved the main blade, you always want to try to reset the blade, right? So what we want to do is we're now going to reset the blade to its start position, and you go knife reset, and you heard that, and that was the blade setting itself to the start position. And now we can also, I want to explain the screen here. so you can get a good understanding of what this machine can do, you would go to the parameter setting, and over here explaining what this is your the width of the slices in millimeters. You have your stop sending time, which is now set at 30, and your interval number, which is set at 10, and your speed and your return. So the return distance is when the product in the chamber, where this part goes all the way back to the starting position, which is 680 millimeters. Your raw material length, the customer has the option to determine their raw material, or they can just leave it at 680. It just means that this will start from the very back, as opposed to starting at a particular point. So if you want the blade not to return all the way back, or either return all the way back and then push itself up quickly to the starting point here, that's what that means. Then you have your interval number, is the amount of times per portion of product that you have in the chamber, how many times it will stop. And you will also have the stop sending time, which they work together. That means that it's going to stop moving this component here every 30 seconds. In that cycle, it'll have an interval time of 10. So, and over here you have the conveyor belt. You can start it right away. Right now, the conveyor belt starts right away. You can delay it, and the same thing with the start delay time after pressing the on button. So right now we're just gonna, it has a safety cover here. You can put it on, and then you can use these buttons here to operate throughout the operation day. Once you have your settings set up, you don't have to always keep on touching that. You can just set it, put the cover on, and then use these buttons over here. So right now I'm just going to show you what happens once you do that. You press the go and you press the start option. You can see that it's moving and delaying every 30 seconds. Okay, there's the blade there. And it's also counting down. For your understanding, every 10 it's going to stop, so it stops. Okay, so it counts up to 10 and then it stops for 30. Counts to 10, then stops for 30. And once it reaches its point, it'll retract to the beginning. This machine is good to cut bacon, all types of meats, deli meats, hard vegetables, yams, any type of vegetable, carrots. You see, and once it's done, it goes back. It's counted the slices. At the same time, while there is that interval and the amount of sending time, which is set at 30. So every 10, it stopped at 30 seconds. And the belt speed, you also have the option to control the amount or the speed of the belt by adjusting this knob here. You can also slow it down here and also speed it up. Over here, we have the belt turning. And you can dramatically slow it down. Also increase the speed, at the same time working with the machine at the cutting intervals. So it's fully automatic. It's a great machine. Okay, there it is. You see it coming forward. There's the belt. And if I go to lift this cover, the machine stops. Okay? The cutting blade stops automatically for safety. Now, I also want to point out that over here, if it opens up, the machine stops again. The belt continues, but the machine stops. You can start again. I want to point out the bottom of the machine. So it has those feet there. You want to make sure that that is nicely firm, adjusted, leveled, and balanced on the ground. You have this one in case you need to move it. This is now off the ground. Okay. This is casters that we put in. And these are also lock swivel on the front end. And that is our multi-purpose automatic meat slicer